In the Golden Fields update, we added farming and 4 new types of crops. Blobs could use tools to be more efficient, and we also fixed blobs flying across the ocean. Then, in the last update called Shepherd's Paradise, we got the awesome bakery, animal domestication, wolf packs, and fierce nomads. Well now, we're gonna get something bigger and better than all that. We're gonna get hats, baby! Yeah, hats! Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Blobiverse devlog series. This is episode 16, and we're covering update 4.3, Amateur Hour. Alright, so in this update, I added patch notes. Oh, what's that? Oh, I guess that's it then. Why watch the video? Alright, see you guys. Yeah, who am I kidding? There's a lot, so keep watching. Pretty much everyone in the community has stated that they are looking for one thing, and that thing is conflict. There are many types of conflict: personal, economic, social, and physical. Blobiverse will one day have all of these forms of conflict. Conflict is at the heart of every interesting story. It's an integral part of our lives. Blobiverse, at its heart, is about the individual blob. What are they thinking? How are they moving along in life? What kind of conflict are they embroiled in? This is why I added the favorites menu, so that you never forget who you found interesting, because you always want to know their story. All of this is to say, Blobiverse is meant to be an incredibly complex and nuanced game. And before we get to something like war, for example, there are a lot of things on our plate. Today, we're going to talk about the first step to get us there. Professions. Alright, you can't have a war without soldiers. You can't have soldiers without a blacksmith. And you can't have a blacksmith without a mayor. And you can't have a mayor without a vote. But first, let's talk about these devlogs. I think they were a bit too hectic before. To see the tiny screen with the blobs doing things? Well, so the main focus now will be drawing in the beta footage. Let me know what you guys think. But now, we have to think about how to tell the difference between different blobs. How would you know if a blob was a chef, or a mayor, or a warrior, or anybody else? The answer will surprise you. It's hats! So because we're using such an obvious visual element, it's so easy to tell what profession a blob is. Spicy drew a very diverse and inspired range of hats, and they look very unique. I think you will never have a problem figuring out who is what profession, even if you've never played Blobiverse before. We've already made these associations by watching years of movies, videos, and through learning history. But then, you might ask, where are blobs gonna get their hats from? Most games take the lazy approach and they just pop them into existence. But Blobiverse is all about the small things. In this game, all details matter. So naturally, here comes the loom. Once blobs have farmed up some carrots and fed those carrots to some sheep, they can shear those sheep for wool. That same wool can be used to make hats, but so can leather, and so can cotton, and so can stone for that matter, but I'll get to that. So blobs put ingredients into the loom, and then they spin her up and weave some juicy clothing. But who's gonna wear that clothing? What, are blobs gonna magically coordinate themselves to all be the perfect profession? Nah, life doesn't work that way. The mayor will assign jobs. And hold that thought, because it's time to call up a referendum ceremony. That's right, it's the first of many kinds of ceremonies. Blobs just love traditions and events. Every blob has an intricate system of memory. They remember everything that they see and interact with. This means that blobs can legitimately have an opinion on who should be mayor. It all starts when one blob realizes the town is getting too big and they need a mayor. They call everybody to the campfire to have a ceremony. At the campfire, blobs start to mingle and talk to one another. They discuss their preferences, their aspirations, and they gossip. Until one brave blob nominates themselves to be mayor. The blobs hush and move their gaze to the candidate. What are they gonna say? So they introduce themselves and they begin a speech. They talk about the things they like because clearly, if they like cheese, then they're also fit to be the supreme leader. Now, if they mention things that the other blobs like, that's gonna sway their opinion in their favor. But watch out. If their reputation even before the speech was bad, yeah, it's gonna be hard to convince anybody to vote for them. And so, the vote begins, and they'll be appointed mayor. Oh, but they might also fail. That's too bad, kid. Maybe next time? But if they succeed, it's a joyous occasion, and this calls for celebration. The blobs are happy, and they go off to do their things. The mayor requests a royal top hat, and a blob will gladly make it at the loom. So the mayor has an important job. Their job is to know what their people are thinking and to make wise decisions. But the mayor is kind of an idiot though, so any good decisions are most likely going to happen by accident, but nonetheless, the only way to know what your people think is by talking to them. This way, the mayor also fulfills another important function. They figure out the preference of each blob and they try to assign them professions. First, they might introduce themselves. Howdy, I'm the mayor. Heard of me? And after they're done cringing, they get down to business. Unfortunately, blobs don't like to do work, so the mayor is going to have to find out what they're passionate about. By force. Well, once they've done that, it's time to begin the negotiations phase. Have you ever negotiated with your boss? Have you ever experienced anxiety? Well, now you can watch blobs suffer at a distance. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Blobiverse. So the mayor suggests various work that they might be able to do, and well, the blob might say no, like every single time. And that's when the mayor just gives up and assigns them the job the town needs the most right now. But if the blob says yes to any job, that's the best case scenario. Now they have a job they like. Or don't. Because maybe they felt pressure to take the job. You never know. And yeah, that's the thing. That is a thing. There are social dynamics in this game. Because I feel it's just not the same game without dynamic social behavior. So what happens when the mayor assigns a soldier? Or a blacksmith? Where do they get their hat? Where do they go to work? The answer is the blacksmith. In the blacksmith, blobs craft weapons and defensive armor, known as Minan's Cauldron. Wait, what? I swear I said helmet. But wait, can we stop for a second and just appreciate the inspired design of this helmet? I swear I asked for a boring stone cap, but Spicy went above and beyond. This is just awesome and hilarious. Blobiverse is all about that goofy, dumb blob doing majestic things on accident and screwing up the next. It's a lighthearted and friendly game, albeit with an intense depth to it, but the art style is perfect. So back to the blacksmith, and for that matter, the bakery, and the loom. Just listen to those blobs working away. So yeah, each one of the workstations now has their own custom sound and activity. I just kind of thought that it wasn't that immersive to hear sawing noises coming from the bakery. Yeah. By the way, I added a few other cool things. There's a new defense rating. It applies to everyone, from the derpy blob to the majestic buffalo. And in the upset of the century, hats increase defense while weapons increase offense. Wow! It's not linear, by the way. Greater defense comes with diminishing returns. So rest assured, Blobiverse will always surprise you because even with an infinite defense rating, you will still take damage. Also, technically, tools now have durability. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the fact that they do, but maybe in the future they'll break after lots of wear and tear. Also, older devices were lagging and everything looked very cluttered, so I needed to come up with a solution that would fix that. What I was thinking was, I already have designated stockpiles, and I know blobs will bring their items there, so the logical next step is to hide those items when you zoom out. Instead of the items, you'll just see a small static image of the old Blobiverse stockpile. Looks cute, I think. So, you might have seen some fellas in the top left. That's the favorites bar.
Bartender, give me another!
Individuals are the heart of Blobiverse. All AI, all logic. Everything happens because a blob desires for it to happen. There is no big mastermind AI that sits and coordinates everything to be perfect. Blobs are imperfect. Their memories are a reflection of their unique history, and so their preferences are arbitrary. They make friends, and they make enemies. Sometimes they slip up, and sometimes it all goes just fine. Blobiverse is not about simulating cities and civilizations. It's about simulating blobs. And in a way, I guess you could say it simulates us and the ways we interact. The favorites are the first step in a long journey to put the blob first. As the god of this world, you're going to find some blobs especially interesting, and you'll want to keep up to date on their progress. Maybe, in the future, there will be a way for the game to record their experiences and for you to keep them. Some people have written straight-up stories about their blobs' lives and their wacky interactions. How awesome is that? Alright, and there's more. Wheat needs more bread to craft, wolves no longer cannibalize meat, and they should no longer take over the world? Yeah, so this. Some people found that if they simulated their world long enough, the sheer intelligence and power of the Alpha Pack AI makes them, conquer the entire world. So they're still going to be smart, but hopefully they won't produce hundreds of other wolves anymore. Oh, and for all you tinkers out there, go ahead and type /hide quests or hide debug or even village recolor fuchsia, because why not? Just some cool commands. Oh yeah, and this was how I came up with the ideas for the patch notes. Cool, huh? And you know what? That covers almost everything. The rest, I leave for you to find out by playing. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I read all of the comments, so please leave one below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next devlog. See ya.